Oh, great. We can just start whenever we want to. Great. Awesome. Woo.
I know, right?
Hi, I'm Beth Barrett, Artistic Director at SIFF.
And hello, I'm Megan Leonard. I'm the Festival Programming Manager at SIFF.
And we are here to talk about SIFF 2026, May 7 to 17 here in Seattle. We are so excited about the films that we have coming. They span everything. There's 71 countries, 59 languages, different regions, different genres, different styles, different lengths, really short films, really long films. Just a little bit of everything.
Exactly. Our goal is to have something in our program for every person that comes to the festival. Any person out there will be able to find something in this lineup that makes sense for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Using the Film Finder on our website is a great way to do that. It's just at SIFF.net, and it'll help you search by venue if you just want to go, say, to SIFF Cinema Downtown. It'll help you search by day. It'll help you search by country, by topic, by time of day, all of those things. But let's talk about the films.
Let's talk about them.
203 of them.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. I know from past years of 400 films, we're like 203 is still a lot of films from all over the world. What are some of your favorites?
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about them, Beth. I have to talk about one of my favorites. It's a documentary. I think everybody in our office has heard me talk about it about 1 million times at this point. But Nuisance Bear was one that I found straight out of our submissions pool, and I cried, had full body chills. It's about polar bears and the effects that human life has had on the environment of polar bears. And so these polar bears have come down into the community where the humans are living, and it's dangerous for everybody involved. And it's just a really heartfelt, beautiful film, incredible photography. And I'm just saying, move over cats. It's the year of the polar bear.
Is it the year of the polar bear or is it the year of the hen? This is a decision that everyone is going to have to make between, you don't actually. They don't play at the same time.
Can see both.
I say that because one of my favorite films in the festival is Georgie Palfy's Hen, starring a rotating cast of 7 different hens. These hens, they are in peril the entire time. They are really just trying to lay an egg. It's pretty simple premise, but the dangers of the world around our poor little hens, really, it's beautiful. It's thrilling. It's terrifying. It's political. It's human as much as a film starring a hen can be human. I love it.
Yeah. Another one that I have a deep love for is called Valentina, that stars Kayla Mejia Monteroso. And this one is really unusual. Like, it's part of our New American Cinema section in our competition this year. And it's more of a hybrid piece. So Kayla's character is completely fictionalized, fake name, all of that, but she's put in a real world environment. And so it takes place in El Paso, border town. And she's going and having real conversations with people about immigration and what policies could go into effect that can really help the entire community in El Paso. Yeah. It's funny, it's heartwarming. Yeah. It really manages to speak to the issues really smartly. And it actually, the director picked up the Someone to Watch Award at the Film Independent Spirit Awards this year. So
very nice.
Not to be missed.
Do you think that there is a through line in our films this year?
I feel like if I were to say there's a through line, it would just be that the filmmakers this year are not shying away from the biggest topics of today. It's a challenging time in our world. Yeah. And our films this year are just hitting those issues head on.
Yeah.
What about what you watched?
I would definitely say that. The other thing that I really saw in the films that I watched and that we are bringing is sort of that expression of the universality of the human experience. That even though you're a hen, or you may be living in Cyprus, or you may be living in El Paso, or you may be living in South Africa, there are certain commonalities in emotion and in reaction and coming into yourself. I think, the coming of age is a hard and sort of amorphous category because it can mean growing up. It can mean, going from a young person to an adult person. It can mean finding that person inside yourself that you are going to become, that sort of chrysalis into the butterfly. It can mean challenging yourself to change and sort of come of age socially and culturally. And so I think, in addition to the directors not shying away from the biggest topics, they're really asking us to challenge ourselves to actually look at it and not look away in a way that is so easy to look away. But film really allows you the space to be separate from, but also to be engaged with.
No, I mean, I feel like that's one of my favorite things about being a part of a film festival too, is like getting to have those conversations. And, we're not just putting the movies on screen. We have all these filmmakers that are coming here to have even more in-depth conversations about those issues after the screenings. So we have so many great guests this year that I'm really excited that we're going to get to chat with.
Who are you most excited to meet?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. Who am I most excited to meet?
I can tell you that I am most excited to meet in person director Anna Fitch and Banker White, and Banker's not going to be able to make it, but Anna, who does a terrific documentary called Yo, Love is a Rebellious Bird, about a multi-generational artistic friendship that she has with a much older artist, Yo. And she builds a puppet-sized version of Yo's house and area, and it's a beautiful love letter to friendship, to art, to aging, to changing. But Anna also was part of one of my favorite short films of all times called The Burning Wigs of Sedition,
which I'm incredibly familiar with. That short is like what was the origin story of the WTF Shorts program, the reason for the season, if you may. We saw that short film and we knew that we needed to create something extra special. Yeah.
These two films are very, very different. Completely different, which really marks a really thoughtful artist. So I'm really excited to I've interacted with her online, but never met in person.
One filmmaker that I'm really excited to engage with this year is Tamra Davis from the documentary The Best Summer. The documentary itself it's a found footage documentary, and like a true found footage in that Tamra found all of these, all the bits of film in her garage after the Altadena fires.
Oh, wow.
In her garage, all of these reels showed up. And
she forgot she took them?
Yep.
I mean, an artist.
Yeah,
true,
it was like during the Somersault tour with Beck and Beastie Boys. Like Kim Gordon, Bikini Kill, like it's so many people of like the 90s era music scene, just hanging around and asking each other like stupid questions and getting into it, and performance footage, of course. But Tamra Davis, I mean, talk about the SIFF effect. Like, when I first started as an intern at SIFF, it was the year that we played A Radiant Child, the Jean-Michel Basquiat documentary. That was one of the first things that I watched coming into the organization. It blew me away. I had already been so obsessed with that art scene, and she's just such an incredible documentarian. And so to have her now coming back this year, and she didn't come that year with that film, so I'm really excited to actually engage with her this year and get to fawn over her a little bit.
I mean, I love that, though, especially with us. We've worked together for, 15, 16 years. But that feeling like you can follow a filmmaker along the path of their development and their growth, and bring lots of alumni back, bring films from alumni, and really keep involved in their lives. One of the ways that we do that is we, with our programmers, we have a lot of programmers.
Absolutely. 25
of them. They do an incredible job. We watch, 4,000 films.
Yeah, yeah.
4,000 films to come to this 200 between shorts and features.
And yeah, and that's 4,000 like direct submissions. That doesn't even include everything that we go out and try and source ourselves.
Yeah.
Like everything that we watch at Sundance and everywhere else around the world. You know, we're watching a lot of different movies.
How do you, you know, within we do our programming within committees.
Yeah.
How do you, as a committee lead, sort of negotiate within that committee? Because there's a lot of films. We ask you to just pick 6.
Yes, I mean, I think in New American Committee especially, like, we want to make sure that there's something for everybody. And, you know, like I have my own personal taste, but as does everybody else on the committee. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that we're all feeling represented within that. So like we're looking at every possible demographic you could imagine, whether that's like just the genre itself. Like we want, you know, to look at sci-fis, dramas, comedies, like making sure that we're like looking at like the best of the best in all the different arenas, like looking at gender diversity, racial diversity, like making, again, like looking at like where in the country those films are being made.
Yeah.
Like we don't need just all films from Los Angeles or New York. Like that's great for them that they get to be the epicenters of film, but there are stories to be told across this big, big country. Yeah. And so we want it to be a reflection of the entire country.
Yeah. And with New American Cinema, we have a new prize this year, the Dan Ireland Prize.
We do.
Honoring one of our festival founders, Dan Ireland, who also founded the Louisiana International Film Festival. And this prize is going to be given alongside the New American Cinema Competition Award for Promising New U.S. Director.
Yes, I'm really excited to see who they choose because each of these films in competition have such unique vision.
Well, and they're all debuts.
And they're all debut films. Yeah. So each film in the program, in the competition program this year, this is the first feature that they have made. So
which is incredible.
Really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes SIFF different?
I think it's the audience.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. I do.
You know, I think our audiences are just so special. Like, and that's the thing that filmmakers always tell me after their experience at SIFF. Like, they are so engaged in a different way. Like, they really just they want to engage with the material in a deeper way. And because our audience, they're not necessarily filmmakers; they're cinephiles.
Yep.
Like they love watching movies.
Yeah.
And
who doesn't?
Yep. Amen. And they want to engage in them in the same way that they would engage in other arts.
Yeah.
You know, like literature or like the opera. Like they want to dig into like the themes and, you know, like the true origins of these projects.
Yeah.
You know. What about you? What do you think really makes SIFF special?
Definitely the audience, but also that sense of discovery. Like the films that we choose, yes, some of them were in Sundance, some of them were in other festivals, some of them were premieres, but all of them are something new, something you may not have seen or will really let you move into a greater understanding. You know, and people always ask me, like, how do I choose a film? It's like, well, Film Finder is great, but you can also find a film that you want to go see and you know you want to go see it. And then see the one before it or after it or next to it. This year, our venues are really close together. It's SIFF Cinema Downtown and then the Uptown, the Film Center, and this year new the Packard Theater at IMAX at Pacific Science Center.
I'm so excited about that.
Excited about that. It's going to be amazing. That screen is really lovely. It's a perfectly sized theater. But to be able to walk in between, you could take the bus in, take the light rail, monorail in, and just walk in between the theaters and really get that campus effect.
Right. Well, once you're in the zone, like you're in the SIFF zone over at the Seattle Center campus.
Exactly.
And, you might see me scooting from like one venue back to the other to make all my different intros and Q&As.
It's gonna be amazing. So, in terms of sort of what we hope to bring to Seattle.
Yeah.
What films? So we've released the first 6, but now the full lineup is out.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a question. Welcome to Beth's Q&As. There's not a question in that.
We're just excited. I mean, there was like so much good stuff in that first look. News and Spare, already talked about it.
Yep.
But I mean, I feel like the last 10 years, people have talked so much about, oh, this movie's Iraqi coded. Like, this is so Iraqi. Well, we have I Want Your Sex.
Yeah.
So forget coded. It's Greg Araki. That one is going to get your tickets fast because I have a feeling it's going to be a hot item.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so great and a perfect pairing to get a double dose of Olivia Wilde. If you want to check out I Want Your Sex and then The Invite.
And then The Invite, our closing night film.
Exactly. And they couldn't be more polar opposites in terms of Olivia Wilde performances. So, you can really get a full showcase of Olivia's sexuality.
I mean, and you say, talk about Olivia Wilde, but, our opening night film with Boots Riley, I Love Boosters, and then The Invite with Olivia Wilde, both of these directors are really kind of pushing on some of the limits of story and sort of leaping over some social niceties as they do it.
Definitely pushing boundaries in very different ways. But I'm really excited to hear everybody's thoughts at the opening night party after they get a taste of I Love Boosters.
Yeah, it's pretty kinetic. The production design is right on there.
Oh my gosh, and those costumes. I'm so excited to talk to Boots about all the wardrobe and just like the piles and piles and piles of clothes that they must have had on that set.
So many clothes. Yeah. So many clothes. What films do you think are going to be common across the programmers' picks? Every year we ask all of our programmers to submit their picks. There are 10 that they think they want the audiences to know about. Some of them might be bigger films that the audiences are going to find anyway. Some of them might be much smaller films that we just don't want to allow to be overlooked.
Absolutely. There's one in particular that I think is going to show up on some people's picks. It's called Drunken Noodles. That is a sexy movie. Erotic en español. Oh my gosh. It's so great. It's part of our New American Cinema section. Was part of Acid Can. And highly recommend that sensuous experience.
Yeah. I think that one that I think is going to slide in there that is a smaller title, but an incredible documentary is called Barbara Forever, a documentary about Barbara Hammer, who was a iconic lesbian artist who used herself as the canvas to express her art. It's so interestingly told. Her story is so interesting and compelling, and then the way that the director tells the story is very Barbara Hammer coded. It's within her style. So it's meta on meta on meta. And she was just an incredibly interesting human being.
Another one I've been hearing a lot of whispers about is Borman and the Devil. Which is detailing the iconic production of The Exorcist 2. This is a big Dan Duty pick.
100%.
And honestly, that's one that I feel like I might need to get a ticket to see that.
Yeah. One of the ones that I am really excited about is Marama from New Zealand. I haven't gotten a chance to see it because I don't want to see it on a link. I want to see it on the big screen.
That's a big screen movie.
Yeah, this is a gothic, horror-ish anti-colonialism period piece as part of our Sin Indigenous program, which is curated by Tracy Rector. And this is one of her big films within it. It's an interesting Sin Indigenous WTF crossover. And I can't wait to see it just explode on the big screen.
Another one I think audiences are just going to eat up is Late Fame.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think that it's just such a lovely little film. Willem Dafoe as an author who, as the title would make you think, he receives some late life fame and becomes this like hugely notarized author just like 40 years after he wrote the books. And now he has to decide, like, do I now have to follow this up? Do I have to come up with something new?
Do I have to do anything else?
Write again?
Am I done?
Yeah. Did I do it?
Did I do it? Did I hit it? Yeah, I'm just so excited for everybody to discover things. One of the great ways to discover films and filmmakers that then go on is short films.
Yes. No, that's one of the reasons I really love watching short films for the festival is you really get that first chance to see the filmmakers as they're making their debut. Though, admittedly, not all short filmmakers are making their debut.
Fair.
Yes. I have to say this year's short film lineup has some real heavy hitters.
Yeah.
In Shorts Fest opening night, we do have Don Hertzfeld's new movie. So definitely be sure to check out that program.
Animator.
Oh gosh. And this one is he's so existential in like the most like heartfelt way. So highly recommend that. There's also a short film called Oh Whale in Shorts Fest opening night this year that is about the infamous news story that took place in Oregon about the whale that washed up on the beach, and they had to remove of the carcass, and they decided to explode it with TNT. And it rained down whale across Oregon. So that is both funny and eceye-opening.
Yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. One of our stronger sections this year, as it is every year, is the documentary section. So we have 71 narrative features and 34 documentary features. So a full third of our features are of our program is actually documentaries. There's some incredible ones in there.
Oh, absolutely. I got to program the Face the Music titles this year, which I had such a blast watching through those. And I already mentioned The Best Summer, but we also have the film Broken English, which is an unconventional Marianne Faithfull documentary.
She was unconventional.
Precisely. And for our audience members who watched the Nick Cave documentary, 20,000 Days on Earth, it's the same filmmakers doing their same unusual interpretation on how to showcase an unusual musician.
With Tilda Swinton and George McKay.
Yes.
Also a draw.
Absolutely. And they have... They are working in the Department of Memory to make sure that she is not forgotten. Which
word, she should not be forgotten, ever. Had a huge influence on music.
Absolutely. Well, and we still have our culinary program this year,
We do. Really excited about that. We've got one of our own, a tribute to Juan Roca, which he is one of the foremost Spanish chefs. And the other Spanish chefs, which, I mean... Spain and food, in the same word, they just come out.
Oh, the gastronomy.
The gastronomy of España. They get together to do a tribute dinner. So it is all of the best Spanish culinary arts all coming together, all in one beautiful film. And we also have a film called The Big Cheese, which is a film about sort of the sommelier for cheese. Competition. The cheesemonger competition, which the U.S. has never won, but we field a team, and it's the story of that team preparing. So it's all about just like Spanish food and cheese. I am all here for the cheese.
Well, and I'm especially excited about this program because we have paired a short film with it called The Baker's Hotline. Which is about the bread makers calling in to get tips.
The King Arthur flour.
Exactly. And it's actually so much more heartwarming than you might imagine.
Yeah.
Because it's just a hotline, too, for seniors who are looking for someone to talk to about their baking.
About their habits, about their baking habits.
Exactly.
The documentaries are incredible. They're all over the Hanging by a Wire, the Pakistani film about the school children caught on a gondola as 2 of the 3 wires break. I mean, hanging by a wire. And terrifying.
So freaky.
Terrifying. I'm not sure I'm going to see that one. Just like the combination of heights and peril. I'm not.
Hens in peril, fine.
Hens in peril, fine. Totally fine. Attacked by a fox, sure, good, all good. But not humans hanging.
Yeah.
Nope. But we all, yay. But we also have a lot of really incredible documentaries about families. Love, Chaos, Kin.
To Hold a Mountain.
To Hold a Mountain. Yeah, the mother-daughter team in Serbia trying to. It's actually not a mother-daughter. It's aunt and niece. In Serbia, trying to hold on to their land and their way of life against encroaching capitalism, for lack of a better word.
Well, we also have Rising Through the Fray, which was about indigenous roller derby women in Montreal.
In Montreal.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited to see that one.
We've got a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
A lot of different things. One of the other programs that we are really invested in and really love is our Northwest Connections program.
Of course. No, and this year we have six feature-length titles, as well as our annual Sound Vision short film program.
Yep.
Among the features, we have 2 narratives and 4 documentaries. Since I am the narrative person, Beth is the documentary person. We have Again from Mia Moore. She wrote, directed, and stars in the film, and it is about what happens when the time loop ends, and you have to reconcile with all the different lives you've lived. Unsurprisingly, this is a trans story, and she navigates what that trans experience is really like from the point of view of someone who it feels like you've lived many lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we also have Zach Weintraub's film Assets and Liabilities. This is a Tacoma set film and could not be any more Pacific Northwest. Very aging dad, or rather aging skater, now dad. And he gets one day back in the sun of his glory. His wife and child are away, takes a day off work, and goes back to the skate park to try and see, will they still accept me here?
Yeah.
Am I still one of them?
Am I still cool?
Am I still cool?
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know all about these documentaries. But
Yeah, the documentaries are incredible. And 2 of them were also funded through our documentary grant for
really?
moral, courageous filmmaking, thanks to the Soderbergh Foundation. Excuse me. J.J. Gerber's The Life We Leave, which had its premiere in South by Southwest, and Under a Million Stars, which is a world premiere documentary about the homelessness crisis here in Seattle and South Sound. Really incredible documentaries. We also have a documentary about Phoenix Jones, which for those that were in Capitol Hill in Seattle a decade ago will definitely remember Phoenix Jones and whether you felt he was a vigilante or a superhero. And, it's very open to interpretation.
I heard at the South by Southwest screenings that he saved somebody from getting their bike stolen. So he's back.
Superhero.
Yeah.
Superhero Phoenix Jones. And then also a documentary called Radio Heart, The Drive and Times of DJ Kevin Cole, a Seattle icon from his very early years in Minneapolis to being Princess DJ, to all the great things he has done here in Seattle with KEXP. It's going to be incredible.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear him speak.
No, just he's lived so many different lives. And this is what, kind of that sort of third part of that coming of age is as things change, as, you embrace sobriety or there's something that changes in your life, you have to start over almost and come of age into who you are now. That for me is a lot of the theme that is going on. Some really incredible films, really incredible filmmakers. But also we have a special program with DJ Nick Fit, who we've been working with for years. And this year, he will be spinning tunes to
A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's going to be pretty dreamy. A lot of nightmarish. Music to go along with that spooky title. And we're ready for Freddy.
I didn't sleep for like weeks after seeing that film. That was terrifying. A terrifying film. So that's going to be great. That'll be at SIFF Cinema downtown. We have a new venue this year. The Packard Theater at the Packard IMAX at Pacific Science Center. And what are the 2 films that are opening up?
Oh my gosh. We gave some killer films for that opening day at the Pacific Science Center. My favorite, Nuisance Bear, much discussed already. Yep. But we also have a little film called April X with none other than Connor Story. We were doing a public service for our audience and making sure that they get a chance to see him in his film prior to Heated Rivalry. Yep. So who knows? I think that could be a pretty crazy screening.
Yeah, so everything will be available at SIFF.net and the whole festival lineup, Film Finder to help you find things. We have 6-packs, so you could go as a big group. Passes are still available.
And remember to check out the programmer picks. Each of us have very different tastes. And once you lock in on which of us is most like you,
exactly.
you'll know the path to follow.
I have lots of people come up and say, I just watch whatever you pick. Yep. It's like, well, that's a lot of pressure. I'm not sure I'm okay with that.
Like, I hope my taste hasn't changed.
God. Yeah. And my tastes are like, wee, flying all over the place. They're like, well, I don't like scary movies either. I was like, okay, we're probably okay.
Like, they can come over to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Go see the WTF people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Beth. Good talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.